Hi everyone, I hope all of you are doing great. Okay, so let's get started for today. Let's talk about line segment. Line segment has two endpoints, and array it has one endpoints. And if you talk of line, it has no endpoint. It means it can go up to infinity in length on both sides. Now, if there are three or more lines that lie on the same line, then these 3 points or more points, they are known as collinear point. Otherwise, they will be known as non-collinear points. Now, an angle is formed when two rays originate from the same endpoint, like this. Here we have one endpoint. Let's say this is B and this is C. This is an ray which goes up to infinity. Let's say this angle is x. If the value of x lies between 0 and 90, this is called an acute angle. Now, if we have a same angle, but that angle is equal to 90 degree, then in that case, this angle will be known as right angle. If the value lies between 90 degree and 180 degree, let's say this is again x, then this will be known as obtuse angle. Further, if we have a straight line, then the angle formed over a straight line, this is equal to 180 degree, and this is known as straight angle. And if we have something like this is called reflex angle. Now please note that reflex angle always lies between 180 and 360 degree. Whenever we have a case something like this, let's say this angle is x and this angle is y. Here x and y are adjacent angles. We can write in this manner. Suppose we have a straight line, we have a ray over it. Let's say this angle is W and this angle is G. If this is a straight line, W and G, they are known as linear pair of angles. We can say, let's say this point is A, B, C, D. Here we can write angle ADB is in this whole angle. This will be equal to angle ADC plus angle CDB. In case of straight line, this will be equal to 180. Hence, it justifies the name linear pair of angles. Now, if we have angle like this, let's say this is x and this is y, then x and y are vertically opposite angle. Suppose we have two lines and two lines, they can be drawn either in this manner or in this manner, such that distance between these two lines are always equal. If this is the case, this is known as pair of parallel lines, whereas these are called intersecting lines. So we had discussed that if we have a straight line and a ray falls on this straight line such that two angles x and y are formed, these are called linear pair. So if a ray stands on a line, then sum of two adjacent angles so formed is equal to 180 degree. And if same thing can be said in the reverse manner, that if sum of two adjacent angles is equal to 180, let's say if is 180, this is given, then line PQ will be a straight line. Just to reiterate, these are two opposite conditions. The first one, it says that if we have a straight line and there are two angles that are formed due to falling of a ray on it, then sum of those two adjacent angles will be 180. And this is the reverse of the above, that if the sum of two adjacent angles is 180, then that line on which these two adjacent angles are formed will be a straight line. Hi everyone, so let's get started. If two lines intersect each other, then the vertically opposite angles are always equal. Let's say these are the two lines that are intersecting each other. We have got two pair of vertically opposite angles. Let's say this is x, this is y, this is g, this is w. Let's mark this line as A, B, C and D, such that we have one line as AC and other line as BD. Now AC is a straight line and we can see that x and w, they form a linear pair. It means we can write x plus w as 180 degree. Similarly, BD is also a straight line, and here angle x and angle y, they are forming a linear pair. It means we can write, now if we subtract angle 2 from angle 1, so this will be 0, this will be 0 plus w minus y, or we can say w minus y is equal to 0, or angle w is equal to angle y. If you see in the picture, this is angle y and this is angle w. They are vertically opposite angles and they are equal. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hi everyone. Now we know the two important concepts. The first one, that if we have a linear pair, their sum will be equal to 180. In the given example, if we have AB as a straight line and a ray falls on O, then sum of x and y will be equal to 180 degree. Now if we have two lines and they intersect each other, then vertically opposite angles will be equal. For example, here angle X and angle Y will be equal to each other. Now we will see an example to demonstrate this concept. If we have two straight lines which cross each other and they are in a ratio of 5:7, so we can say that X by Y is equal to 5/7. Now since we have to find other angles, let's say they are G and W. Now AB and CD, they are straight lines and X and Y lies on AB, so X plus Y will be equal to 180 degree. Since X and Y are in ratio of 5:7, so 5 plus 7 will be equivalent to 180, or 12 will be equivalent to 180, or 1 will be equivalent to 15, and 5 will be equivalent to 75. Other angle is equivalent to 7, which is 105. Now X is 75 degree and Y is 105. Now since they are in ratio of 5:7, this will be the final value of angles. Here we have a line and there is a ray. Let's say this line is PQ. We have a ray OS. This is a bisector. And this is another bisector. We have to find the value of angle ROT. Now since RO is bisector, these two angles will be equal. So let's say they are X and these two are Y. Since PQ is a straight line, all angles will form a linear pair. So we can write angle X plus Y equal to 180. And from here we can say the value of X plus Y is equal to 90. Now if we notice, angle ROT is nothing but X plus Y. Hence angle ROT is equal to 90 degree. We have two parallel lines. Let's say this angle is X and this angle is Y. Angle X and Y will be equal by corresponding angles axioms. Axioms is said to be self-evidently true. Let's draw three parallel lines, and this is a transversal line and we are marking the angles as X, Y and G. Let's name these lines as L, M and N. Let's say we have L is parallel to M, then we can say that angle X is equal to angle Y. Similarly, we have assumed that line L and N are parallel, so we can say that angle X will be equal to angle G. Now let's say this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. From equation 1 and 2 we can say that angle Y and G are equal, hence M and N are parallel. Here we have a set of parallel lines and a transversal line. Let's say this line is L and other one is M. Now since L is parallel to M, if these two angles are X and Y, which are corresponding angles, they will be equal. Now this angle will also be x because they are vertically opposite angles, and this angle will be 180 minus x because L is a line and these two form a linear pair. Now we want to try to find out that if the pair is formed of 180 minus x and y, what will be the sum of these two angles. Now let's assign a random value like g to 180 minus x. Then our final expression will be g plus y, and what is the value of it. Now since g is already 180 minus x and y is equal to x because these two are corresponding angles, now their sum will be equal to 180. So whenever we have such two pairs in parallel lines, their sum will always be equal to 180 degree. Here we have a set of parallel lines and a transversal line. If this angle is x, then this angle will also be x, and this will also be x. Let's say this angle is y, so x plus y will be equal to 180. Now this angle will be y, and sum of x plus y will be equal to 180. Now this angle will also be y, and this will also be y. Again, we are having a pair of x plus y which is equal to 180. This angle will be x. In the given figure, we have to find the value of angle XMY. We have two parallel lines here, that is PQ and RS. In order to find this angle, let's construct one more parallel line that is parallel to both PQ and RS. Let's say this angle is x and this angle is y. Now y will be equal to 40 degree because these two are interior alternate angles, and the value of x plus 135 will be equal to 180. From here we can find the value of angle x as 180 minus 135, which is 45 degree. Now the value of angle XMY is nothing but sum of x and y, which is 45 plus 40, that is 85 degree, and that is the final answer for this angle. In the given figure, we have to find the value of angle x, y and g. The line AB, CD and EF are parallel to each other. Now since CD and EF are parallel, the sum of angle y and 55 will be equal to 180, and hence the value of y will be 125 degree. Now angle x and angle y are corresponding angles, so they will be equal. Hence the value of angle x is also 125 degree. Now since AB and EF are parallel lines, so the sum of 90 degree, G and 55 will be equal to 180. And from here we can find the value of angle G. From the equation 90 plus G plus 55 equal to 180. And the value of G will be equal to 35 degree.